One other news tonight, President Trump has ordered federal assistance for 6 Vermont counties affected by widespread flooding in April.
Local 44's Devin Bates spoke with Vermont Emergency Management and joins us now live in the newsroom with more on this big announcement today. Hi, Devin.
Well, Lauren and Glenn, that flooding in April had entire roads underwater, with many of them washed out completely. This federal money will go a long way in making sure these towns aren't feeling the burden of hefty repair costs.
To say it's significant flooding was maybe an understatement. It was very destructive.
On April 15th, rain and melting snow caused widespread flooding across the Green Mountain State, and dozens of towns had to contend with washed-out roads and substantial damage. As repair costs add up, 6 Vermont counties will be getting desperately needed aid from the federal government. The spokesperson for Vermont Emergency Management said he was pleased with how fast it arrived.
It was a quick turnaround this time. FEMA generally, the process can take months, and it's been, I think, just over 2 weeks since we applied, and this is somewhat unprecedented for a disaster that is not on the scale of like an Irene, which should speak to the magnitude of this disaster.
A preliminary assessment by FEMA identified more than $2 million in eligible public infrastructure damage statewide, and Bennington, Essex, Windsor, Orange, Rutland, and Washington counties will be receiving up to 75% federal reimbursement. Governor Phil Scott released a statement after the aid was announced, saying, quote, "I want to thank our federal partners for moving expeditiously to approve this disaster declaration. The areas of greatest impact include many small towns with limited transportation budgets. This will help them rebuild roads and other infrastructure without experiencing a long-term financial strain on their town budget." Vermont Emergency Management spokesperson emphasized the impact this funding will have on those smaller communities.
This would have been a devastating cut into their road budget, and probably would have had to borrow money to make the repairs. So this will certainly help those towns rebuild.
Now, the governor's office is advising municipal leaders to attend one of the upcoming applicant briefings to start the process for seeking federal assistance. Vermont Emergency Management is going to be announcing when those meetings will take place sometime in the coming weeks. Live in the newsroom, Devin Bates, Local 44 News.